Hello, Bronx Middle School Math. I hope everyone is enjoying their F&P testing. Please make sure that you are completing all of the assignments, checking your Google Classroom, and staying updated on your email because that's how the teachers are going to be communicating with you. So if you are in 5.6, this was your exit ticket for lesson 2. If you are in other math classes, this might not have been your exit ticket, but it's still good to get some of these example problems going. So we are trying to solve for this mixed number. How do we add mixed numbers? Well, it's a lot easier than it looks like because this can seem intimidating. But what we're going to do is you simply add the whole numbers and then you add the fractions. So we're going to add, I like color coding. So we are going to add these, the whole numbers, and then we'll add the fractions. So like I always say, don't make life harder than it has to be. So we're going to do wrong color. You know how I am, I love my color codes. 2 plus 3. We know that is 5. Now we are going to be focusing on 1/10 plus 3/4. So we're going to do 1/10 plus 3/4. So when you add fractions, we know, come on guys, y'all know this. The denominators need to be the same. They need to have a common denominator. So let's do some manipulation so that we can get these fractions with the same denominator. I'm going to move this, or go over here. Okay, so common denominator. I'm going to say 20 because 10, let me zoom in for handwriting. 10 times 2 equals 20 and 4 times 5 equals 20. There we go. Or you could have done 10 times 4 equals 40 and then reduced it, simplified it later at the end. So either one, all roads lead to Rome. So we could do both, actually. Let's do both. I got time. You got time. Let's do it. So let's begin. Let's manipulate 1/10. So we know the denominator, the common denominator is 20. So 10 times what equals 20? And that is going to be 2. And you know that whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. So 10 times 2 equals 20. 1 times 2 equals 2. All right, now let's do 3/4. 3/4, I'm going to multiply it. And we know the common denominator is 20. So 4 times what equals 20? That's 5. Whatever you do to the bottom, you got to do to the top. 3 times 5 equals 15. So we are doing 2/20 plus 15/20. And that gives us 17/20. So let's say that you didn't come up with the common denominator as 20, but rather you got 40. And that is okay. So let's see what would happen. I'll go right here. So 1/10 times, and we said the common denominator was 40. And then 3/4 times, we said the common denominator was 40. So let's see what we have to do. So what do I have to multiply to get 40? With 10, that'd be 4. 4. Okay, so what do I multiply 4 by to get 40? That'd be 10. 3 times 10 equals 30. So now we simplify. Let's simplify this. I could divide both by 2. I can divide both the top and bottom by 2, and that would give me 2/20. Yep. And And let's see here. Can I divide both by 2? Yeah, I can divide both by 2. 15 over 20. Now, let me look at this. I could divide this one by 2 again. But if I did that, we would be back to 1 over 10. And I can't add that to 15 over 20 because of the denominators would not be the same. That's why we manipulated it. So we are going to keep it at 2 over 20. And same thing with, let me go over here, 15 over 20. I could divide it by 5 because 15 divided by 5 is 3, 20 divided by 5 is 4. But I can't add that to 2 over 20 because the denominators are not the same. So I can't do that. So I'm going to keep it here where the denominators are the same. And you see how all roads lead to Rome. So let's finish this off. We got, that was our answer. Sorry, a little detour there. We got 17 over 20. So our final answer is going to be so we add the whole number and then we add the fraction and then we put them together, and what do you got? 5 and 17 over 20. That was my math version of bibbidi bobbidi boo. Who got an A on the exit ticket? You know it's you. Okay. Leela is painting with children that she babysits. She starts with a 14 and 6 over 10 ounce bottle of red paint and then 12 and 2/5 ounce bottle of blue paint. She gives the first child 2 and 3/4 ounces of paint and the second child 1 and 6/20 ounces of paint. How much paint remains in the bottles? So I want to make a key note here. Notice how at the end it says how much paint remains in the bottles. Bottles. That tells us that it's going to be the total amount of paint. It doesn't matter if it's red, blue. We just need to know the total amount of paint. So what we are going to do is we are going to add the red, and then we're going to add the blue, and that will give us the total amount of paint. Then we are going to subtract the amount that was taken. So 2 and 3/4, 1 and 6/20. Okay, so let's do that. Let's begin with adding. That's our game plan. We're gonna add red plus blue. That will give us the total. And then we're gonna subtract how much she gives to each kid. So total, I lied. Okay. I think I'll do this whole thing like color coded like that. I like that. That satisfies my OCD. Okay, 14. No! Driving my OCD crazy. Okay, here we go. 14, 6 over 10. Yep. You always want to check your numbers. You would hate to get the question wrong just because you didn't write it down correctly. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I did that a lot when I was in middle school. I just wrote it down incorrectly. And oh man, it would drive me crazy because I didn't check my work. So I learned my lesson the hard way. Learn from my mistakes, y'all. Okay, so now we're gonna add 12 and 2/5. So y'all know the drill. We just went over this. When we are adding mixed numbers, we add the whole numbers and then we add the fractions, put them together. What do you got? A mixed number? I'll work on it. I'll work on that song and I'll keep y'all updated. So now we're going to add common denominator. What is the common denominator? Well, we could do 5 times 10, which would be 50, or we could just do 10 because 10 times 1 and 5 times 2. So let's do some manipulation to get these fractions on the same page. So 6 over 10 is good. It already has the common denominator. We don't need to do any manipulation. So I'm going to spend my time with 2 over 5. I'm going to multiply it by something, and the common denominator is 10. So what do I need to multiply 2 over 5 by to get 10? And that is going to be 2. So whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. 5 times 2 equals 10. 2 times 2 equals 4. 4/10. Great job. So now we are going to add 4/10 to 6 over 10. And the answer is going to be 10 over 10. What do we do? What is that? That is 1 whole. So we are just going to add that to 26. So let's boom, 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 boom. Plus 1 equals 27 ounces. That's the total amount of paint. When you add the red and the blue, 27 ounces. Now I am going to add 2 3/4 plus 1 6 over 20. The reason why I'm adding these is because that is the total amount that was used. So let's write that down. So what we could do is 27 minus 2 3/4. We'll find that answer, and then we could do that answer minus 1 6 over 20. We could do that. But what I'm going to do is figure out the total amount of paint used and then just subtract that from 27. Remember, there are many paths that lead to the top of the mountain, so you could do it both ways. So I'm going to add these two, and then we can figure out how much total paint was used, then subtract that from the total amount of paint, which is 27 ounces. So you know we're going to add 2 plus 1 was 3. So now I'm going to add 3/4 plus 6 over 20. The common denominator, well, we could do 4 times 20 equals 80. Or we could just do 20 because 4 times 5 equals 20. They have that in common. So let's do some manipulation to get 3/4, that common denominator. So like I said, 4 times 5 equals 20. So what do I already do the bottom? I do the top. 3 times 5 was 15. So what we are doing is 15 over 20 plus 6 over 20. And I get 21 over 20. Oh goodness, now I have a mixed number. Well, this is an improper fraction. It's not a mixed number yet, so let's make it a mixed number. I'm going to come down here and do it. 21 over 20. So what this turns into is this. How many times does 20 go into 21? It's not a trick question. So 1, I'm going to write down 20, subtract the difference, and we get 1. Well, 20 is too big to go into 1, so we're left with the remainder. So I'm going to go over here and do the remainder over the divisor, and I get 1 and 1 over 20. So that's how much was taken from, that's how much paint was used. I'm going to put that over here. Sorry, we're having some organizational issues. So remember, we added 2 and 1, and then we added the fractions. And when we added the fractions, we got 1 and 1 over 20. So when we add that to 3, we're going to add the whole numbers, and we get 4 and 1 over 20. So the total amount of paint used is 4 and 1 over 20. So now I'm subtracting 27 minus 4 and 1 over 20. Isolating my work. So I'm going to do 27 minus 4 and 1 over 20. So we simply subtract the whole numbers. So 27 minus 4. And I'm left with 23 . Okay, so I did not have enough room up here, so I had to finesse and get an extra page down here. So we are going to move down here because we're going to need some room. Now this is tough because we have a whole number and then we have a fraction. So I need to be able to subtract this fraction from this whole number. So we need to do some manipulating. I'm going to turn 23 into a mixed number so that I can subtract 120 from it, 1 over 20. So if I do 22 and 20 over 20, that is the same thing as 23. Because 20 over 20 is 1 whole. And 1 whole plus 22 equals 23. But the reason why I'm manipulating it like that is so that I can subtract 120 from it. Because remember, when we're subtracting or adding mixed numbers, we add the whole number and then subtract or add the fractions. So I keep the whole number and I'm going to be focusing on 20 over 20 minus 1 over 20, which is easy, 19 over 20. So I combine that with the 22, 22, and 19 over 20. So we started off with 27 ounces of paint. Let's write this all down. We started off with 27 ounces of paint. Then we used how much for? We used 4 and 1/20. And we have 22 and 9/20 ounces left. That's how much paint is left. All right, y'all. Thank you for watching and reviewing the exit ticket or just some practice problems with mixed numbers, because these could have been tricky. So good thing you got some practice, and make sure to watch the other YouTube videos if you are still confused, or come to class with your questions prepared. Y'all have a great evening, and I will see y'all in class.